Hey, good morning, Eastern Oregon, and welcome to this February 20th version of AM Live on EOA. Your connection to Eastern Oregon, we're also on the EOA network. And our guest today here in just a bit is going to be Union County Commissioner Matt Scarfo.
What's up?
How are you?
It's not, it's second Monday for me.
Second
but
Monday.
Not for anybody else.
It's the second Monday?
Yeah.
I didn't know that there were second Mondays.
Yeah, Tuesday. But this is Monday for everybody else.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Nobody
yeah.
was here yesterday.
I know.
I showed up and I'm like, it's still dark in there. And then I asked them next door, I was like, is today a holiday or something?
Yeah.
They're like, it's President's Day. And I was like, oh.
Yeah, well, it's kind of funny because we kind of like slid into vacation day, you know.
I knew my kids didn't have school, but I don't remember us taking President's Day off before.
Yeah, well, and I don't know which ones, you know, had we had work to do, we'd have been here, yeah.
I got a little bit of stuff done. It was all good.
Yeah, but it was kind of, it's always kind of funny because normally the guys will say, hey, do we have Monday off?
Yeah, nobody said that.
And I'm like, what's text. Monday? Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I was confused. And then nobody responded to my message until you responded to it. So
finally,
I'm like, what are these guys doing?
That's right.
It's not like I sent it like 5 o'clock in the morning. It was like, after, it was during business hours. And I got no response. And I started thinking about it. I'm like, oh, we must not be working today.
Yeah. So, hey, Alex McCadden is the new city manager in Elgin.
Oh, he got the job?
He just was official
so
and said,
back
hey.
over to the west, to the east side?
Yeah.
Probably got sick of it over there in Soda Pop Springs or wherever he was at, town of 12.
Well, I think he's been doing a variety of things, I think, to make ends meet, and this is like...
I mean, that's been him since we...
That has been, yeah. And so then he's pretty excited to...
He's going to walk into the fire, huh?
Elgin.
I wouldn't want to be the city manager of any city, honestly.
Of any
it's
city?
a lot of pressure, yeah.
No, yeah, it's a little bit of a hot seat job.
Yeah.
But it's more complicated in I don't know. Being a city manager is complicated because you're being pulled a lot of different directions.
Yeah.
And everybody's your boss, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it would suck. But Alex will probably do a good job, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Yep. And he wanted to come back here, so good for him.
Yep. He's been wanting to get back to Eastern Oregon, and so
even though politically, for like what he likes to do, being over there is better for him.
Yeah. Well,
I think he's closer to the epicenter of Oregon politics.
Yeah. Well, I think he didn't say this, but I think he's got enough of a dose for now of Western Oregon. Yeah. Because he's been doing a variety of things over there. I mean, he's been the city manager of, what is that little town? I can't.
Soda Pop or something?
No, Soda Springs, maybe. Is that it?
Yeah, I think so.
Soda Pop.
Soda Pop Springs.
And then, and then I think he's been working part-time for one of the state representatives, and then just doing a variety.
I'll tell you how small that town is. I lived in that area for 18 years and I'd never heard of it.
Yeah.
I'm not joking.
No, I know.
Yeah, like my ex-wife's family is from in between Albany and Lebanon, which is very close to this mythical town. But it's a real town. I mean, I looked it up.
All towns need mayors and representatives and city managers and So.
Yep, bootlickers.
Bootlickers?
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of bootlickers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got one coming on today. I still have that
and he's not even on the stage to defend himself. Yeah.
Still have that sign hanging in my office.
Yeah. Well, hey, you want to do sports?
Let's do it.
All right.
Morning Sports Report brought to you by Northwest Furniture and Mattress. Big Red Rocking Chair on Elm off Adams and LeGrand. Go see them. They want to make you comfortable in your own home. LeGrand girls basketball won the GOL tournament on Saturday night with a 54-51 win over Pendleton. Benny, roll those pictures. The Tigers were also the regular season champs. They'll host a playoff game. It's the first put the actual bracket. The bracket's done, but they don't have the teams seeded yet. There, you just saw a picture of the ref right there, Todd Gorham. I always try to get a picture of him. Yeah, I always try to get at least one sneaky pick of a ref during every game. But yeah, the girls team they played well. They'll end up getting a home playoff game for being the GOL champs, and hopefully they make a nice little run and do, maybe vie for a state championship. The boys hoops lost to Baker in the GOL tournament championship. Just the fact that they made it there, though, is quite remarkable. The team was like 5-17 on the season. They ended up beating Ontario at home in the GOL tournament, and then went on the road and beat Pendleton in overtime. But then they had to face Baker on Saturday, and it was almost as bad as the 70-point loss. I think it was only 66 this time. But, I mean, anytime you're only scoring in the 20s and your opponent's scoring in the 90s, that's rough. You know what I mean? Especially for the same conference. They'll also get a playoff game, which is crazy. When I was that age, I've talked about this before. When I was in high school, you couldn't go 1-5 during the regular season in your conference and 5-17 overall and make the playoffs. Now, the way the GOL's set up, it's so odd. They got teams, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how it even works, actually. I really don't. I think each league gets 2 autos and 1 play-in, and we only have 4 teams. So it's like, yeah, I think that's how it works. I'll never understand everything that OSAA does. They have Baker ranked number 4 in the state on the OSAA rankings. Right. They're 24-1. They've lost 1 game to Cascade on the road at the end of a 3-game road trip where they played the 3 best teams in Oregon. Right. It's like, I don't understand it. In swimming, the LeGrand girls brought home a 2nd-place trophy from the state meet, and the boys brought home a 3rd-place trophy. I'll have some more information up on Facebook about that later. We had I think we had the 4x100-meter relay won a state championship. I don't think there was any individuals. There was a lot of 2nd and 3rd-place finishers. LHS girls wrestling walked through the Special District 1 tournament this weekend. They qualified 13 for state and had 3 district champions, Kirsten Azure, Malia Azure, and Caitlin Brock. The 4A tournament for them, it's 4A and down, 4A, 3A, 2A, 1A. State tournaments this weekend. Next weekend, a week from the boys. The boys is this weekend. LHS boys wrestling has their state tournament, like I just said, this Thursday and Friday. For more information, brackets, or scores, go to Track Wrestling. I mean, that's the best way to find information about wrestling in Oregon. It's live. You can actually watch the match, not the actual video, but the points of the match right there on Track Wrestling. Yeah. EOU men's hoops dropped 2 tough ones on the road this weekend to Northwest and Evergreen State. They weren't must wins because we've already clinched a spot in the CCC tournament, but I feel like they were must wins. Those are 2 teams that we shouldn't lose to, and Coach Kemp talked about it yesterday that they kind of overlooked them and weren't prepared, and it was Evergreen State's senior night, and they came out and beat EOU. I mean, it's kind of been that kind of season for the men's hoops team. They'll play this weekend at home against Bushnell and Corbin, and that'll be senior night for men's and women's hoops. The women's team won both of their games against Northwest and Evergreen. They're looking like they're going to possibly be the 3 seed in the conference tournament. EOU baseball got 1 of 3 from Woo on the road this weekend. LeGrand's Devin Bell pitched 2 innings for the Wolves in Game 2 and picked up the win against the Mounties. 1 of 3 from a good D2 baseball team. I'll take all day. I mean, one win is a win. You know what I mean? I'll take it all day against probably the best pitching staff in the GNAC too. With Western, their pitching staff is phenomenal, and this Mountie team went over there and got a win. I mean, congratulations. They've already doubled up their wins from last year. They have 6 wins. EOU softball split with Central Washington on Saturday, and then they turned around and got snowed out on Sunday. Yeah, this is the time of year where games get snowed out, believe it or not. They play this weekend at home against Whitworth if the weather cooperates. It's supposed to rain, I think, on, I want to say Saturday. But outside of that, I think it's going to be in the 50s. So we could get some softball here in LeGrand this weekend. EOU Women's Wrestling has their CCC tournament this coming weekend in California. The men's wrestling team hosted the CCC tournament over the weekend. EOU ended up with 4 all-conference wrestlers, 1 conference champ in Hunter Sparks, and 5 national tournament qualifiers. Hunter Sparks, champion, all-conference. Braden Carson got 5th, so he qualified for nationals. AJ Rockwell got 2nd, so he's all-conference. Kyle Knutson got 3rd, all-conference, and Jay Smith got 3rd as well. So 5 guys. Kind of a little bit of a letdown, I think, if you asked Coach Azure. I think there was more of a goal of getting about 9 guys to the nationals, but it's just kind of how it falls. And it was an awesome tournament. I spent the whole weekend there. And it's just that level of wrestling it's crazy how good these guys are. I mean, most of these guys can roll with anybody in the country, any level. You know what I mean? There's not that big of a discrepancy between NAIA and NCAA Division II and NCAA Division I. And then finally, EOU Indoor Track and Field hosted a last chance invite this weekend where we saw Mark Church and Justin Ash pick up CCC Track and Field Athlete of the Week. So there's your athletes of the week for the CCC when it comes to track and field. Morning Sports Report brought to you by Northwest Furniture and Mattress. Big Red Rocking Chair on Elm, off Adams in LeGrand.
Good stuff, man.
Yeah, busy.
You were busy.
Yeah. Fun though. Fun. And then this weekend I'm going to Portland for the 4A and the 5A State Wrestling Championship. Cool. Yeah, and I'll do some live videos and keep everybody updated there.
Cool.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
And your son's wrestling on Saturday,
My son
right?
wrestles Saturday, yeah. LeGrand wrestles Thursday, Friday. And then my son wrestles 5A Friday and Saturday, where he'll be the number 2 seed at heavyweight in the state tournament. And, yeah, it'll be exciting.
Cool.
Be cool if he could pull it off and win a state championship.
Yeah, because this is his senior year.
Senior year.
This is it.
Yep.
Yeah. And he hasn't really been wrestling that long, right?
4 years.
4 years.
Yeah. When he started high school, the football coaches at Dallas told him that football players at Dallas don't play basketball, they wrestle. And he said, okay. Started wrestling. He was like, Dad, I'm going to wrestle. I said, okay. He had tried it out when he was little.
Yeah.
And I was like, go for it. He's 6'6" and he wrestles.
I know, that's the thing that's funny.
Going to the basketball coach hates it.
Yeah.
But Dallas has a really good wrestling team, so it's been good for him.
Good.
I think wrestling correlates with football way better than basketball too, especially for linemen, for the bigger guys.
Right.
Because you're learning how to manipulate weight. You're learning your foot speed. Now for skill players, I mean. It's not quite as important, but for those big boys, man, being able to get a low center of gravity and learn how to keep your center and all that is huge when it comes to, the transition from wrestling to football.
Yep. You're absolutely right. All right. Well, Matt Scarfo is going to be with us here in just a minute.
Weather. We got to look at the weather first.
Sorry. Yeah.
Gotcha.
I was skipping ahead.
I've done it.
All right, let's take a look outside. What is it? It's whatever it is, whatever that
crummy
winter,
depressing.
Part snow, part rain. Yeah, I went over to Seattle and back this weekend, and that's kind of how the weather was. I mean, I had a little bit of snow on Snoqualmie coming back, but nothing on the road, so it was good.
That's good.
Yeah. And then, so what's our weather forecast here next couple of days? So up to 49 today,
And then look at the rest of the week.
Yeah,
all the
that
way
is
up
just
in the
so
50s.
that is just weird. Yep.
So not really raining until Sunday.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, now it's time. So, Union County Commissioner Matt Scatmarfo. I was going to mess that up. That's probably not the first time, is it? Anyhow, Matt is going to be with us here in just a minute. We'll be right back.
Here in Eastern Oregon, we're blessed to live in such a wonderful area. And though it may seem mild-mannered, there's actually quite a lot that goes on in this area. And apparently, there's two dinguses who happen to be here that are actually crazy enough to get up at the crack of dawn to talk about it. Tune into AM Live on EOA with Brent and Dodsey, featuring special guests, weather, sports, news, and more. Every Tuesday and here in Eastern Oregon, we're blessed to live in such a wonderful area. And though it may seem mild-mannered, there's actually quite a lot that goes on in this area. And apparently, there's two dinguses who happen to be here that are actually crazy enough to get up at the crack of dawn to talk about it. Tune into AM Live on EOA with Brent and Dodsey, featuring special guests, weather, sports, news, and more. Every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 a.m. only on EOA Live, your connection to Eastern Oregon. Now on Roku.
Okay. All right. We're back with Matt Scarfo.
Now it's in your head. It's like I cannot stop.
Now I'm going to say it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we were saying, like, yeah, so scat marfo is not good, but I've been called bent crap before. That's been...
That's a good one. That's funny.
I've never been called anything that having to do with feces.
Really?
My name doesn't correlate with any.
That's true. You're lucky.
Congratulations.
I got one up on you.
Yeah, it seems like I was just here last month. It's been 3 months.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, you said, hey, come on the show.
No,
I was like,
I'm glad we did. Yeah, no, we've, I'm trying to have Gabe work on our schedule. Mm-hmm. So, but I think it has been. I mean, I put your name, I went through and roughly said, which
I know
months
Donna
people
was on last month.
Yeah.
Donna was the last one on.
Right, yeah.
was I on before Christmas? I hadn't been. And New Year's, and I mean,
Yeah.
I'm here.
You're here.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it comes by every once in a while, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. How are you?
Well, I'm well.
Good.
Yeah.
Now, were you in D.C. last week?
Oh, boy. Yeah, you brought up a sore subject. I was supposed to be.
Okay.
And I got stuck on the way station above Cabbage Hill for 3 hours.
How's that?
Someone hit a light pole going down Cabbage, and I missed both my flights.
Oh, that was when it was closed?
Yep. I was stuck on 84 for 3 hours. I got up a little earlier, checked the roads, saw they were kind of poopy, and I was like, all right, better get on the road. And next thing you know, I'm stuck up there for 3 hours. I called Alaska Airlines, hey, I'm not making it to Pasco. And I said, well, I could probably make my connector in Seattle at 2 o'clock. And then another hour went by, another hour went by. I'm like, man, I'm going to have to drive 90 miles an hour to Seattle.
Right.
Well, and it's snowing. It wasn't great.
Right.
I don't know what Snoqualmie was like. So I called. I said, hey, I can't make my 2 o'clock connector either. And she said, well, if you could make it to Seattle tonight, I could put you on standby tomorrow. And I was like, man, I don't want to drive to Seattle.
And then be on standby.
Yes. So I had plenty of time. I'm up on the hill. I had service. So I started making some phone calls, trying to see how I could get out. For some reason, everyone was going to D.C. that weekend.
Huh.
And I checked to make sure I could get a refund on my rooms, refund on, the conference. And I was able to get refunds and everything. I just canceled the trip.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
No, it was, yeah. So I was supposed to meet with federal lobbyists, which I'll be doing that over a Zoom call coming up. And I missed a couple other things, meeting with Congressman Bentz and a few other things. But it was kind of a bummer. But it was out of my hands.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know what else I could do.
Well, and that's a haul to Seattle.
Yes.
I mean, I just did that drive.
Yeah.
Well, and
Sunday.
then to turn around and fly to the other side.
And then I would have had to driven back from Seattle.
when you got back.
Yeah, and then we had the Greater Idaho mandatory meeting that night.
Was that group that's trying to make us Idaho?
It's not a group. We voted that in.
Oh, we voted.
Yeah, the county voted that in.
Well,
So,
that was on,
yeah.
and that was on Valentine's night.
Which is also the anniversary of Oregon. It was very ironic.
Yeah, I was trying to. I mean, I've been trying to make those meetings, but that one was like, I got a higher calling.
We
will have-
voted that in. Wait a second. Does that mean we are going to be?
No.
part-
No.
I didn't
It
think
was
so.
the ballot measure said that the county commissioners are forced to have meetings 3 times a year to create the conversation of moving the border, and it did pass. And so we're forced to. Don't worry about missing that one because we'll have all of them.
We'll have others.
Yes, even if we become Idaho, we will still have to have.
I was gonna. Yeah, Tanya was asking me, is there any like termination of that?
There was no sunset clause, sunset date, nothing on it.
Huh.
It's forever. We'll have those meetings forever.
Forever's a long time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So was that very well attended?
Yeah, we had
On Valentine's night.
probably 20 people, and we had a few on the Zoom call.
Yeah.
Yeah. I completely understand the frustration of this movement and why people want to secede into Idaho because of the East-West divide and the politics that Salem brings and stuff. But do I see the border actually moving in my lifetime? Probably not. I hate to say never.
Right.
So,
Well, I mean, and you and I talked about this a little bit. Maybe, I don't know if we have or not, but I mean, I've kind of looked into that. And yeah, I mean, right out of the gate is like, even if you could snap your fingers, would Eastern Oregonians want to start paying sales tax? Would they want a lower wage? I mean, they're just like, yeah, and even the practice of business license and
the forced
right
the
management.
I forget the name. Anyway, we'd had 25 years to get this forest plan in.
Right.
And then it wasn't a good plan, and we're going back to the drawing. I mean, that's just the forest alone. That took 25 years.
Right.
I mean, that's someone's career.
Right.
And how much manpower to do that.
Right.
And the cost of it. And that's just the forest alone. Then you got to talk about the water. Then you got to talk about sales tax. And there's thousands and thousands of things you have to think about. And it would take $1 trillion.
Yeah.
To go through and to get this whole figured out.
Yeah.
And years and years and years.
You know,
But like I said, I understand the frustration.
Right.
I have the same frustrations.
Yeah. You
with
know
the
what's
state.
funny is that I recently had a conversation with a couple of guys I was on a podcast and they were from the West Side. And what was interesting is that I was convinced that there are some things that we think are maybe conservative liberal differences that are just urban rural differences. You know what I mean? I mean, so there are just some where they just simply don't understand rural life in some manners, you know. But I think that in the polarization of what's going on in life, we want to say, oh well, they're just super liberal over there and they're not like us, and I don't think that always fits. I think part of it is just it's urban rural.
Yeah. Well, you just bring up wolves.
Yeah.
What are wolves political?
Yeah.
They are now.
Right,
But
yeah.
they're really not. You're right that's an urban rural thing. They don't have wolves in Portland.
Well, and they don't understand. I mean, I heard Bobby Levy tell a story of, she brought some friends out and put them in an airplane and they flew over Imnaha or something like that. And they just like, holy smokes, they had no idea of the vastness of it,
Well, most of them think that Bend is Eastern Oregon.
Right. I had that this last weekend too.
Yeah.
I mean, when I would meet people, they say, oh, you're from La Grande. Is that near Bend?
Yeah. Real close.
Yeah. Well, so what were you going to D.C. for?
The NACO conference.
Okay. And what
So
is that?
there's the levels. There's LOC, League of Oregon Cities. That's the city level. Then there's AOC, Association of Oregon Counties. That's the county level. And then there's NACO, National Association of Counties, and that's the federal level.
Okay.
So if you have a federal issue, then you go to NACO.
Right.
NACO will handle all.
And so
handle that.
you're the OAC representative?
AOC.
AOC.
So we're all our county's involved with AOC.
Right.
And so then we, if we have federal issues, then we move it up to NACO. But if we have state issues, we stay at AOC.
All right. Okay. So then, what do you accomplish? What does Union County accomplish by you going to the NOC? Is that what you said?
NACO, yeah. So I've gone before because I was bringing up the Medicare, Medicaid for incarcerated individuals.
Okay.
So what happens there is, since we have the jail, if you become incarcerated, Medicare and Medicaid they will not offer assistance. And so if there's a medical emergency in our jail, it's on the county.
The bill. Right. Yeah.
Which I'm still trying to work on that one at that level, and it's slow moving at the federal level.
Right.
But that's very, very important. If you've ever had, a lot of counties have never had an issue where, there's a medical emergency or whatever that happened in their jail, that bill comes to the county. Say you have to, a stroke or a heart attack or something of that. I mean, that's six-figure medical bill coming to the county. And would love to have Medicare and Medicaid pay for or help with that.
Well, and we recently had an inmate, a long-term inmate, right?
Yep.
Yeah, the guy that was on murder.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Yeah.
I can't ever remember his name.
Yeah. I mean, and the county had to cover that bill, right?
It was the hospital. The hospital helped out quite a bit.
Yeah.
With it, they were fantastic partner in our community to help that out. But if we could, I don't know, I've been trying to figure out why the federal government won't allow Medicare and Medicaid to cover incarcerated individuals. So that's one of the issues that I bring forth when I go to NACO and in DC.
And it's funny because, I mean, on the surface you would say, well, yeah, well, I mean, it's one of the privileges they lose if they're incarcerated. That's what, I mean, you would kind of think that, but not knowing that, not really thinking about that, yeah, but somebody's got to pay their medical bill.
Yeah, you can't just let them die. You can't just let them.
No. But when, our county budget's, 61 million, and all of a sudden we get a bill for $250,000 for medical. I mean,
that's substantial.
Holy smokes, yeah.
Yeah.
So that was one of the issues. There's a ton more. There's a lot of natural resource stuff that Commissioner Andrus and Commissioner Beveridge, they handle that, and sometimes they'll go back and they'll get the PILT fly-in and the SRS funding. That's payment in lieu of taxes. That's for logging receipts that we used to have when we were able to log here, and things of that nature. But I was really going back to meet with the federal lobbyists. Like I mentioned at the city council meeting, I'd love to see some federal dollars come back into our community.
Right.
And looking at projects and stuff that, maybe a federal lobbyist can help.
Right.
Conjure up some of that money to bring back.
All right. Well, so I know you've talked about it a bit. Mm-hmm. How is the fairground funding? How is that progressing?
I think we're doing well.
Yeah.
I went to the Capitol a few weeks ago and knocked on so many doors.
Right.
And it was opening day of the short session.
Right.
And just pounded the pavement over there. I was sweating. But I stopped by every senator's office and talked with, I didn't see every senator, but I talked with majority of their staff. And the House of Representatives side was the House side was just hornet's nest. It was just busy over there.
Yeah.
So I was trying to, here's my one pager. Hey, I'll catch you later. And it was this, and the Senate side, there's only 30 of them. So it was a lot easier to stop in and talk to them a little bit. And I just testified on Friday, Ways and Means, Capital Construction, in front of the Capital Construction Committee. And I 6 out of the 10 that are on that committee, I have sat face to face with and discussed this project, and they're well aware of this project.
Yeah.
But now it's up to 2.25 million is the need.
Yeah.
Last March, we just needed $1 million. That the inflation has gone so high that it's 2.25.
Wow.
And the project's 4.1 million.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. But it needs to be done, and I have good feelings it's going to happen.
So when they approve something like that, okay, how soon is the cash available?
I don't know. I've never done this before.
Yeah, I mean
I've never.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm kind of curious to see myself.
Yeah, it's like, okay, when's the check? Yeah, when's the check going to hit the account? Yeah.
Yeah, I'll let you know. The good thing is if we just know what's coming,
right?
Then maybe we could get started and we could work with the contractors and say, hey.
Right, I know. But if I were a contractor, that's the first question I'd be asking, like, okay, where's the money at? Is it in the bank yet?
Yes, of course. But we do have, I think it's 1.7, 1.85. That's there's some money in there, so we could
get started.
Get started, and hopefully float it until the check comes in.
Yeah. Wow.
But
well, even if you started right now, it wouldn't be ready till 2025, right? Probably.
Yeah. Well, it'll be voted on here next month. Sine die.
But I'm talking about like done.
Oh, done.
Project.
Yeah. Project. I do not know the timeline on that. Like we still got to get over 84 in the Grand Ron River.
Right. That's
with the pump stations and all that. I'm sure that's not going to be an easy task.
No, that's going to take time too, and you probably can't really do that too much in the winter when it's freezing.
Yeah. So.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, so what other things are floating out there?
Well, right now the short session. And the short session, they're really talking about Measure 110. And so I was on a conference call this morning with a lot of senators and reps, and they said they're still working it through. They're optimistic as well.
Well, and I even heard over the weekend, I heard one of the news stations from Portland kind of summarize it the way that you had. So then the Republicans are wanting it to increase it to a Class A misdemeanor. So in other words, reclassify, and I don't know exactly, but anyhow, what they're negotiating right now is making some of that drug possession, and it's mostly aimed at drug distributors, right? I'm trying to remember, and so I don't know. I'll stop talking.
It's more of getting our law enforcement more teeth in the game on this.
Right, because right now they don't even have teeth to go after distributors.
No, it is. I've said this a million times. It's I think it's the worst measure that's ever been passed.
Yeah. And
it's proven that it is.
Yeah.
Very, very scary to legalize any kind of narcotics and not have any repercussions on it. And would we the worst in the nation?
Yeah.
For overdoses and suicides and all. I mean, it's not helping. Yeah.
Well, and what's funny is we had a discussion here, and I'd really like to have a broader discussion about this. I'm kind of waiting to see, where the legislature lands on this. But, somebody from the warming station, Doug Whipple, was talking about how the stats are that for people that are trying to come off drugs, that this approach of non-criminalization is a better approach than what has been happened in the past. And I don't, I'd be really interested to know how that applies to here. What are the facts here? Mm-hmm. But the stats that he presented, though, they don't really talk about how the impact that it has had on the community around, and so the decriminalization may or may not be a better approach for somebody who's on drugs, but the impact that it has had to our society, the overdose, the non-enforcement part of it. I mean,
and the behavioral health, they go hand in hand.
Yeah, I mean it's been crazy.
Yeah, I would have loved to see the treatment. I am all for the treatment part,
right?
But that's the part that really failed.
Right,
there's no treatment. We're still the worst treatment in the United. I mean, hate being the worst.
Yeah, well, there's no money. That's the problem.
Right.
Well, there was money, I guess, and I don't know where it's at. I think it's all locked up still. It's just, I don't know. It's always with our state, the cart before the horse. Legalize marijuana, but then we'll worry about where
we're going to put
Yeah. It's like legalize it first, and we'll figure it out later.
Yeah.
It's like no, it's figured out first, and then work towards that.
Yeah.
But no, it's very, very scary times.
So in the short sessions, if I'm remembering right, so then it's just in the last few days that they finally decide to distribute the money. Is that right? I mean, Or are you hoping that maybe you'll hear on the fairgrounds before then?
Oh, okay. Okay,
I'm sorry. I switched
two
back.
different topics there. Hopefully, we'll know sine die, and we'll see. Fingers crossed. I'm going to head back over to Salem one of these before it's over, and do one last
round.
Meet with hopefully the committee members, see where I'm at, see what else I need to do to, if there's any questions that need to be asked, more information.
I think you need a T-shirt that has a gigantic wheel that's like squeaky, and it's just I'm the squeaky wheel.
Well, everyone keeps saying
the fairgrounds.
A lot of the other commissioners call me broken record, and but everyone when I'm at the Capitol, a lot of the senators will walk up to me and say, like, Matt,
I thought
this was funded, and how has this not been funded yet? And this is so. Hopefully, this is the year. Yeah, because I've been working on it for 5 years now. So you are the chair now, right? How does that? You guys rotate? We rotate the chair every year. Okay. Some counties it's elected, and some counties rotate. Yeah. But we rotate here. Really, it's who runs the meeting. That was my next question. Yeah.
Do you have a gavel?
There's one somewhere, but I don't.
Bang that. Yeah. Listen up here, Paul.
It's not like there's a lot of people in those meetings normally.
No. Yeah. No. But if there's something that usually if the governor needs to talk to a county, they'll talk to the chair, whoever the chair is presently. So how do you guys do casual business? I mean, that was something that Tanya was asking me the other day. It was like, so, I mean, if two of you is a quorum, right? I mean, so technically you can't, how do you just talk about, I mean, because in my management style, like at our office, I mean, we talk about, I mean, I like to have us together and we talk about stuff and we stir it around and we throw ideas around and see what sticks. Well, how do you do that if two of you together is a quorum? Well, the quorum thing is we just cannot talk about decisions. Okay, so you can talk, you just can't. Oh, we can talk. I can talk about the weather or things, I could get informational. Like, Commissioner Anders will go to a natural resource meeting, and I'll poke my head in, and I said, hey, how'd that go? What was the information? And we could inform each other on information, but we can't conspire and say, well, hey, right, what we need to do is. But can you say, I wonder if this would work? I mean, can you talk about? So we have work sessions. Okay. So work sessions usually come about once a month. It's in between. It's a second Wednesday. And they're public. And public meetings. Okay. And that's where if we could work. It's a work session. We work things through. There is no decisions. Okay. But it's completely public. We'll bring up hot topics. We'll discuss them, have information on them, and then usually it'll be the next meeting. Then we'll vote on it. The next meeting. Interesting. Yeah. Do you have much participation in the? I mean, I've not been to a work session. It just depends on the topic. Yeah. Sometimes we're working through something with the airport or working something through, a lease agreement with the Baum Industrial Park. Right. And can the public be a part of it? Yeah. Can they comment at those work sessions? Oh, of course. Yeah. Yeah. Huh. Yeah. Of course. Yeah. Anything we do right. The public's always welcome. Right. But at the commissioner meetings and any formal the city council meeting or whatever, there's a defined part when the public can comment on a particular item, or they can just bring anything to the front. Yeah. Yep. So in a work session, is it that defined? There is no public comment during a work session. Oh, there is none. Okay, so they can listen, but they're not a part of the conversation. Correct. We may have like our planning director speak and give us information on something that's happening through planning. Right. So we'll have, department heads and stuff that are going to give us information. Right. And then we talk it through.
That's not general public though.
No. So but you could be in the room. But if one of the public wants to spitball an idea with the commissioners. Oh, then you know what? Call ahead of time. We could put you on the agenda. Oh, I see. Okay. Yes. Okay. So let's say, whatever. So then the public knows that you're going to talk about roads and stuff in Union County. Okay, at a particular work session. Then
then they could call ahead of time and say, hey, I'd like to speak about that particular issue.
Yes. So even if they came up during one of our regular meetings and did public comment,
right,
and said, hey, we got an issue over here,
right,
love to discuss this further, then we said, well, okay, we'll put it on the agenda for the next work session.
Right.
You come back in, we'll put you on the agenda.
Yeah.
We'll bring in Director Wright with Public Works.
Got it. Okay. Yeah.
No, if the public has any issues at all, yeah, please.
Well, and
541-963-1001.
Well, and part of it is just, I mean, and I know this, if I wasn't so, I mean, I've, recorded all of probably the last 10 years or more than that of the Grand City Council meetings. Mm-hmm. But if I didn't have that experience, I wouldn't know exactly where to insert my particular opinion if I had one on a thing. And so that's part of the issue, is just people might have a voice, but they might not know, or they want to voice something, but they don't know how to get in. Yeah. How do I fit that in?
Well, there's a lot of work that happens behind the scenes also.
Right.
There's a lot of calls that I get that we could fix without having to go to a meeting.
Sure.
So, and then, you've been to some of our meetings now, Brent, where sometimes they're quick.
Right, yeah.
And we're making these votes. Well, a lot of the stuff is happening, we get our packet in days before.
Right.
And I'm reading through there, and, Director Hartel had a planning. If I don't understand it, usually I'll go to his office, spend a half hour in his office,
right,
work through it so I can make my decision whether to,
right,
say yay or nay on it.
Right.
And so when it comes to the meeting, all my questions have already been answered. I've already done all the research back on it. And once in a while, I will ask a question to the directors and stuff, just so the public can hear the reasoning behind certain topics.
Right.
So it's just not us going in there and going, yep, that's good, bye, and then we're out.
Right, but where does the public access the details of the packet? Is that on?
So it's on our website.
Yeah, and I mean,
but sometimes the details, it's hard.
Well, I mean, and I see this. I mean, I see this at the city council meeting in LeGrand. So then, Stu Spence will want to, I mean, he'll be proposing that you increase the fees of a particular thing. So, but the details of what the fees are going up to that's in the packet. Now they're available. I mean, the public, had they been ahead of time and known, they're in the process of increasing the fees for this particular thing, then they would have had the foresight. Had they known, and then had the foresight to go to that packet ahead of time and look at those fees, and then they could have. They could. There's a point in there where it's like, okay, is there any public comment on this? Well, again, part of the problem is that information is just not easily accessible.
No, so at the county, we post our agenda online prior, and we do have constituents that will call in and say, hey, I see that's on the agenda. Can I receive that information on that? And that happens.
Yeah. And I get that. I mean, I understand. And the more I get involved and the more I increase my knowledge about this stuff, I understand that it's complicated. Mm-hmm. But it is, what I think is, what happens is government entities, they really want to be, I mean, in their heart of hearts, they want to be transparent. And they put that information out there to be transparent. Mm-hmm. But it's hard for somebody who doesn't know where to go to get the information that they're really wanting, unless they just go to Stu Spence. And Stu is, I mean, he's totally approachable, and he would say, well, yeah, this is what we're thinking, and here, let me send you the details of what I'm proposing. So,
yeah. But everybody's really approachable.
Right.
It's very, before I was a county commissioner, I didn't know what a county commissioner did.
Right. Yeah.
And would I have got more involved, and now that I know this, probably not.
Yeah,
because a lot of the stuff I do is pretty. It's pretty boring.
Well, and you gotta care about, I mean, and that's kind of the people. I mean, let's say the swimming pool they're increasing their fee by $1, whatever that might be. It was used to cost $5 to go in, and now it's going to cost $6. Well, a lot of people don't, be like, yeah, I regret that I took the time to even read that, let alone. But there are some people that would be like, man, I go 3 times a week. Yeah. That makes a difference to me, And
And that's the research that we do when stuff like that occurs prior. Okay, why?
Right.
What,
and,
you know?
Right. And I've seen you guys have those discussions.
Yeah, let me pull the budget out. What's going on here? Well, right now, for any increase to happen is very understandable with our inflation.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's an easy one. But there's other things that we have to vote on just because of protocol.
Yeah. Yep.
And so we do a lot of, when volunteers come and they go on a committee, well, we have to vote them in. And
yeah, it's a court order, right?
Yeah.
I mean, is that,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I was reelected to the tax.
Oh, the property tax.
TRT.
Yeah,
TRT distribution, yeah.
No, it's
and it's like, it was like there was a court order with my name. It's like, oh man, what did I do wrong? Yeah.
Serious stuff. It's serious. Yeah.
So, well, what else is going on that's like, oh, that's kind of interesting. I mean, there's this vast amount of stuff that you have the ability to intersect in, and some of it, I'm sure, is like, oh, this is a real yawn, and all of it's like, some of it's like, oh, that's kind of.
Boy, like right now, I'm focused on the short session and all that. I was sitting over there thinking like, oh boy, hopefully you have some good questions for me because I got fairgrounds and more fairgrounds. I am really putting all my eggs in one basket here the next couple of weeks on that.
Yeah.
And I
got good questions. What do you think about EOU baseball?
Hey, they're doing fantastic. I was going to say that. Yeah, we got to liven up the show a little bit.
Yeah.
Just kidding. What, are we down to no one watching now?
No. What do you? They've won double the game.
I know. Super excited. When you were talking about the, they canceled the game due to snow.
Yeah, the softball games.
Oh my gosh, it happened so much when I was playing here.
Oh, so many games.
Coming from Phoenix and coming up here and playing. It's like, how do you play? I've never. It was the only season I ever batted under 300. It was my first year here because I couldn't feel my hands.
Yeah.
I was so cold.
Oh,
I didn't want to hit the ball.
Here.
I didn't want to hit the ball because my hands would hurt so bad.
And EOU's never had a turf field. I mean, they play on a turf field now, but Snowflake was not turf. So you miss even more games because of water retention, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Have you seen the plan? you've seen the layout plan for the baseball field?
I have not.
You haven't?
No, I need to see that.
I must know somebody.
Well, I was talking with Garlitz about it, and maybe it's the same one that we have. Because Snowflake was facing the wrong direction.
Yeah.
It always was.
Yes.
And then John was like, "You serious?" And I was like, "Yeah, this is." I looked it
up. Snowflake was facing south, and they want it to face the opposite.
And the reason why it is due to the sun.
Sun. Yeah, you don't want to be looking right.
Because it's right down. As a batter, you're looking right into the sun.
Although Optimist, so Optimist, when you're playing the right side, so if you play first, second, right field, in the afternoons it is brutal when that sun sits right up on top of the hill and it's just bearing down. I mean, you learn how to use your glove to block the sun really quick playing on that baseball field.
Well, especially here being so high in the northern hemisphere.
Oh,
see, when I was in Arizona, that sun was right on top of your head.
Yeah, not here. You get a 3 o'clock game and you got that sun just, or a game right after high school. You know. Oh yeah, it was brutal. But the Mounties, there's a different energy this year. I noticed it. I've had 2 players, the coach a couple times on my show.
Yeah, Coach Shred's doing a great job.
And it's just there's a whole different feel. And there's a buzz. It's kind of exciting.
Well, when we played him the alumni game during homecoming, that was fun. We had a good time. I wish he would have played he had a game the next day.
Right.
So he didn't play the starters.
Right.
We still beat him.
The alumni beat him?
Yeah, we beat him.
Yeah.
I hit a double almost off the wall.
Living the glory days.
I still got it. When I'm feeling down, I'm always just replaying that swing in my head. When I hit that ball.
Film?
What's that?
Is it on video?
No one got it.
Oh, damn.
Hey, yeah, it's right here.
Yeah.
Right here.
Yeah, right here, it banged off the top of the wall. Really, 3 hopped.
Yeah, it's right. Hit about midfield and dribbled out
right
there.
Here, he coasted into second, but in reality, he almost got thrown out.
So our leadoff guy hits a double, and I was like, holy smokes, you know. So I get up to the plate, and some guy in the stands goes, "Get your ribby." I'm like, gosh,
get your ribby?
Get your RBI.
Oh, okay, okay,
I'm like,
okay.
someone's chirping at me? Chirping? Someone's chirping in the alumni game? I'm like, gosh, dang it. Oh, my God. Well, then the pass ball happened, and he goes to third. And I was thinking in my head, I'm like, all right, just a pop fly in the right field. Let's do that. And I fouled one off. And then he gave me a little outside pitch, and I swung, and I hit that thing. And after I hit it, I go, I hit that hard. I was shocked. And it didn't bounce off the wall, but it went to the wall. And I made it the second. I mean, the throw almost came in. I'm not as fast as I used to be, but.
That game was in October, too.
Yeah.
Man. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Man.
It was, and then the 3-hole, he hit a double and scored. I had to run first to second home within like 5 minutes. I was dying.
BC, you got to understand. Scarfo says the alumni won. But really, the alumni this year was all of last year's players.
Yeah, we had a lot of young.
A lot of guys were like just 1 year out. You know what I mean?
Right.
It wasn't like a bunch of
Easy.
Bunch of alumni.
yeah, those old chrome domes sitting out there. I mean, they were all.
You got to first base and somebody like, do you want me to run for you?
Yeah, it was. I'm like, do not pull a hamstring. Don't break a hip.
Something. You know? Don't throw your arm out.
I wear shorts to the alumni game just so I don't slide or dive.
Right.
I'm like,
preservation.
No, I'm done wearing baseball pants and diving and sliding. And but no, it was fun. We had a really great turnout. Like you said, a lot of younger players came back.
Yeah, which is good.
It's not unusual for a alumni team to come back and beat the original team because, like Dodgy said, sometimes the whole team was a bunch of seniors
from last year. Yeah,
from last year, and then you're going to go play a bunch of maybe sophomores.
Right.
And it's sometimes a good game. And then you get guys like me that just I'm out
like, hey, I want to, Well, what we'll have to get a camera guy up there next time you're playing it, so then you can, we can.
There's so much stuff that goes on that weekend.
Yeah, there is. I remember.
It's impossible to cover everything.
It's awesome that there is that much stuff, but I really wish there was
I wish
one
it
more
was
day.
a little more spread out. Yeah. So,
but you can't.
You can enjoy more.
Yeah, you got the golf on Friday, then you got all the alumni on Saturday, you got the game on Saturday, and then Sunday everyone's got to head back home. And
yeah.
But our homecoming here at EOU is it's fantastic. It's a
So
great
is there
weekend.
ever a time though your wife's going like, honey, are you sure you okay? Yeah. You say, I want to swing that bat, man.
I'm not there yet where she's like, hey, I don't have the Ben Gay out yet. But no, I warm
sore
up
for 2 weeks after the game. Can't walk. Oh.
Yeah. Getting sore happens a lot easier now.
Oh, dude. I don't know, a month ago, I usually walk to work just to get steps in, And like a month ago, it was icy, and I slipped and fell. And I was just thinking to myself, I'm like, dude, this hurts a lot more than it hurt, like 20 years ago. Yeah. Like, you just brush it off, and then my butt hurt, my elbow hurt for like a couple of days. And I was just like, well, and I'm big too, so it's not, but I've always been big. So I know what it was like falling big when I was younger. And it's a lot different as you get older. It really is.
So watching my son, he's playing basketball, and he just played on Saturday, and he probably hit the court 5 times, like hard.
No problem, huh?
Oh, yeah. Got back up, and he does like the ow. And then I'm like, man, that's a broken hand for me if I hit that hard.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, no, he just jumps right back up, and he goes.
Yeah, I played in 5th grade, I remember this clearly. And I wouldn't be able to do it today. The day before the All-Star basketball game, so down in California, I hadn't moved here yet. Out in the apartment complexes, they have these bricks that go around the planters. They're like these round bricks, that protect. And I was running with no shoes on. Wham! Toe. Just, pinky. I played the next day on in an all-star basketball game, was the MVP. And nowadays, like if I did that, I'd call into work.
Man, I can't walk. I can't get there.
You think you don't need? I don't think I need my pinky toe, but when it's broken, I've broken that before. Putting your socks on, I peed a little bit every time. It hurts.
I've had that pinky toe pointing that way, completely.
Man,
a couple times.
Yeah, I broke mine, and my wife's a nurse, and so if you marry a nurse, you're not going to get any.
There's not much shipping there.
So I'm sitting there,
Tape
and
it to the next one.
I go, oh my gosh, my toe's so busted. And she's like, it's not broken. And I was like, man, that's broke. She goes, all right, let me see. And I showed her my toe. She looked down. She goes like, oh my gosh, that's broken.
Yeah. Well, toes are one of those ones where you don't even go to the.
No, it's like a
point.
finger. It's
You
like there's
can't do
nothing you can do
anything.
about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless-
Well, if your finger's bad enough,
unless
you
it needs
go,
surgery, right? But
Yeah.
still, you know.
But toes, you just tape them together and you just kind of roll on, right?
It was, in my second year playing baseball up here, I hit a triple, and I came into third base, and I had my pinky going the opposite direction,
Oh, yeah.
popped off the bag, and then I had my batting glove on, and coach was giving me a high five, and I was like, nope. And he looked at it, and he's like, oh no. So I did one of these like quick jobbies, and Ken Kladnick was our trainer at the time.
I remember him.
Yeah, he was a great guy. He said, well, let's get you up to the hospital and do x-rays. And I said,
What's the point?
I was like, well, if it's broke, what are they going to do?
Right.
Like, well, tape it to your other finger. And I said, well, if dislocated, what are you going to do? And tape it to the other finger. And I was like, let's save everybody some time and money.
Right.
Let's just tape it to my other finger.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I played them the next day.
Yeah, it's kind of like broken ribs. It's just like,
You can't do
oh,
that.
it's like you're going to be in pain for a while. That's all there is to it.
Unless you have to, set something or.
Right, yeah.
But.
My son has bursitis in his knee really bad. And nowadays, when I was his age, if you had bursitis, they would drain it. It's just your bursa sac fills with fluid. He gets a lump on his knee about the size of a grapefruit, okay? And as long as it's not painful, they don't do anything. So, I mean, he's walking around after wrestling 3, man-looking dudes over the weekend. He's got this grapefruit on his knee, and he looks like he's just been in a war. And they don't do anything for it at all, unless there's pain. And
then
it's
they'll
like
drain it?
excruciating pain, yeah. Because they don't want to take the chance of introducing infection into your knee.
Oh, gotcha.
So they don't stick a needle in it unless they absolutely have to.
Did you say he's 6'6"?
Yeah, he's a big boy.
Holy moly.
I think you've seen him before. I think you met him one time here.
Okay.
He's big.
Well, I mean,
left-handed pitcher.
Yeah, I probably haven't seen his head. I mean,
no, he's very large.
Well, everyone's
he's taller than I am.
Everyone's taller than me, but
yeah, and it's crazy. He's wrestling heavyweight this year, but he's probably the lightest heavyweight in the whole state. He weighed in on Saturday at districts 226.
226 at 6'6"?
Yeah.
Well, he's
a super light heavyweight.
He's a little skinny.
He's not skinny, but when you got guys that are cutting to make 285 to wrestle him, that's a big difference. 60 pounds, it's a real big difference.
So how does your wife handle seeing your blood? Does she? I mean, the reason I'm asking this is because Kelsey is my daughter is a nurse, and her husband Kyle is a deputy. She does really fine, but if she sees a cut on Kyle or something, it's like, you got to take care of that yourself. I mean, she's just.
Oh no, my wife's. Oh,
she's fine with that. Yeah.
She's got. When she goes into nurse mode.
Yeah.
She's fantastic. She is. They have that calming.
They do. Yeah.
There was no panic. There was no.
Yeah.
No nothing. Raising Luke. Shoot, I was sitting there with my phone all the time, just ready to call 911.
Yeah.
Just like,
yeah.
I mean, we're like, oh, what's wrong with them? What's wrong with them? I want, ambulance here. And she's like, hey, it's okay. We're good. We're like, no, we're not. Look at what the heck? Is it supposed to look like that?
We finally had to, with my son, we finally had to just say, dude, unless your cut is on your face and it's going to disfigure you, we're just gluing this at home from now on. Because you go to the ER. One time he fell down the stairs with a drill in his hand, and I thought he stuck himself with the drill because there was blood everywhere. But he hit his head right on the corner. And you go into the ER, and of course, they have to ask those questions, like,
how did this
separate you know what I mean? And I just finally told my
I'm glad they do ask those questions.
Yeah, I am too. But I was
100%.
just like, from now on, we're just gluing this. Like, unless it's going to disfigure him, because he had so many times. I mean, he's rough and you know what I mean? Just, it was crazy the amount of, he probably could have had stitches 10 times, easily. And it was just got to the point where we were just like, yeah, we'll just use some super glue or something and fix this at home. Some new skin. Yeah.
No, but Lynn, she's an OB nurse. And here she's fantastic. And I hear because I'm never there when she's working.
Right, yeah.
but I hear all the stories that she does a fantastic job. She comes home and she's like, I delivered another baby today. She's delivered babies by herself before.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
OB nurses the OB nurses are like, that's their thing. I mean, they don't move around much.
When you go to paramedic school, my best friend, he's a flight nurse now, but he was a paramedic. When you go to paramedic school, that's one of the things that you have to do on your practicum is you have to be there for the delivery of 3 babies. Because
I could see where that's very useful.
Yeah. You might deliver a baby.
Well, especially that one, it's like you have to be able to see everything.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what you're going to see when you get out there.
Which is why I could never, ever do that job because blood, and especially like kids, no.
Yeah, so blood and high places, if those two were together.
Oh, no. And that's exactly what my best friend, and one time he sent me a picture. They were in the helicopter, and a duck came through the fuselage. And he sent me a picture of the pilot, and the pilot was just covered with muck. Like, there was no duck left. It was, I would call it muck.
Yeah.
I mean, it was, hit the pilot, came right up through the fuselage. They had to land in a field. An ambulance had to come pick their patient up. Yeah.
Holy moly.
Right through the fuselage of a helicopter. It was crazy. I still have the picture somewhere. Probably a hole about that big right down in the fuselage, and then the captain is just covered with like this goo. Duck goo.
Duck goo.
Yeah. Good morning, Mayor Rock. Good morning, Dana.
Well, hey, you want to get us out of here?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Thank you, Matt.
Hey, yeah.
On this day, February 20th, 1673, the first recorded wine auction is held in London. On this day in 1959, Jimi Hendrix, at the time 16, plays his first gig in the Temple de Hirsch Synagogue basement in Seattle. He was fired from the band after the first set due to wild playing.
What year was that?
1959.
59.
1962, John Glenn becomes the first American to orbit the Earth aboard Friendship 7. 2016, this is how uninteresting this day was. A 4-inch lock of John Lennon's hair sells for $35,000 to him. 4-inch lock of hair. $35,000. 8 years ago, 2016.
Jeez.
Yeah. The number one song in America on this day in 1974, The Way We Were, Barbra Streisand. I think that's from a movie, isn't it? Isn't that the name of a movie? Is that with Robert Redford?
Yeah, I think that was the name of the movie.
The name of the movie.
The Way We Were.
Robert Redford movie, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
He is in my favorite movie ever, so I should know.
What's your favorite movie?
The Natural.
The Natural. Okay.
Quote of the day comes from Walt Whitman. Keep your face towards the sunshine and the shadows will fall behind you. One more time. Keep your face towards the sunshine and the shadows will fall behind you.
I
got one quick thing before we close up. The Veteran Ski Day is Monday at Anthony Lakes.
Veterans Ski Day.
Yep. So if you're a veteran, you're in your family,
Free?
go up. Yep. Go up, free rentals, free ski.
Free beer?
I'm sorry?
Free beer?
I don't know about
For
that.
veterans?
I will look into that.
But free rentals and free lift.
Yeah, and free
That's a heck
free
of a
free
deal.
lift.
For you and your family.
Yeah, for veterans.
That's awesome.
Veterans Day up there. Yeah, there's a few things they do throughout the year. This is a great one up there. Well, hopefully there's enough snow.
Yeah.
But yeah, this Monday, the 26th, Veterans Ski Day up there at Anthony Lakes. Fantastic that Anthony Lakes does this for the veterans. And
Do you ski?
I play sports.
Yeah.
I don't.
Oh, we're gonna get crap for that comment. Right there.
Well, the thing is my dad would never let me because it's like you always twist an
hurt
ankle.
yourself.
Yeah, you get hurt, and so it's like you are not going to do that.
Yeah,
So
well, he said I play sports. Skiers are going to be pissed. It's like
skiing
the
is a
band
sport.
members. You know, I play sports. Well, according to them, that's a sport.
yeah, but I didn't want to get hurt. Well, my dad always said you're not going to get hurt.
100%.
So no, skiing is a sport. Don't get me wrong.
It is. It is. Yeah.
All righty. Hey,
Thank you.
thank you.
You bet. Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it.
See you
Thank
Thursday.
you, Sorgan. See you soon.